Hey guys, what's up? Inksmith back again, and today we are finally talking about the Sienna Mae and Jack Wright situation. If you don't know who these people are, I didn't really know a ton about it either. I had to look this up. I'm not as big of a TikTok user as I am a YouTube user. I mostly post my cat on there. If you ever want to check him out, he's Neko Pogo. But in all seriousness, back to this situation, Sienna Mae is someone who has been doing dance videos on TikTok for quite a while. And Jack Wright, same situation. We're talking about two people who I believe when they both started were about 17 and are now legal adults within their states, 18. But in this case, this is going to be kind of a flip situation from what I've been talking about a lot recently, where male predators are hunting down underage girls like Cryotic and Yamimash. Sienna Mae took advantage of Jack Wright. Now, this is kind of a strange situation, and you guys, if you can help me out here, I'd really appreciate it. I've looked up information on this case again and again, and in some of them, they say Jack Wright was Sienna Mae's boyfriend, but then they broke up, and afterwards, Sienna Mae continued to do SA. SA is the best thing I can say. You understand what that word means. Now, let me completely give credit to Jack Wright. I believe his story 100%. I believe in believing all victims, especially if it's a male too, because if you're any bit in doubt about Jack Wright being legit with his accusations against Sienna Mae, you've really got to think about this from the point of view of a 17-year-old, cis white male. This is not a cool thing to come forward and admit. He's not getting any kind of career moving spice from this. This is not something that's going to make him dope with all his friends. I think the reason it took him a very long time to come out with this was because this was very hard for him to talk about, just like a lot of women who, when they have to come out against accusations with men who've abused them, it's even more so with a man admitting that he was abused by a girl. Now, this supposedly happened after they broke up, but in other reports I read, they were never a couple to begin with. Jack Wright came forward and he said, no, we were never a couple. And if that's true, it makes it even worse. It's so disgusting. She pretty much took advantage of Jack Wright when he was passed out. And I can't even show the video here on YouTube because some people who are showing the video are getting it taken down or getting their video taken down. And I've even heard Sienna Mae's PR company has been reaching out and trying to strike some of these videos. There was a response by her at first that was possibly the most ridiculous response you could ever imagine. She went away from the internet for a while, like a lot of these pro TikTokers, pro YouTubers do, where they're like, I'll just disappear for a little bit, pull a Shane Dawson and come back when I hope everybody's forgotten about what I've done. She comes back, and instead of actually making an apology, she does an interpretive dance. And it's I don't know how. I'm just going to show video right now to show you how ridiculous this is. Now, there's nothing wrong with doing silly TikTok dances. I'm sure if TikTok was around back when I was in, junior high school or high school, I'd have many friends who would do the same thing. And I've had friends who are really great dancers. I myself have all the dancing skill of a forklift, so I would never be making these videos. I'm not trying to criticize her dance. I'm just saying this is not the right time to be doing silly dances. I want you to imagine, I don't know, let's take another YouTube creator who was called out for doing some sort of misconduct. Let's say Sky Does Minecraft, or who was that one guy? Austin Jones, I think was his name. The guy who had all these like 14-year-old girls send him all kinds of disgusting pictures that I won't even go into description. He's in jail now. Sky Does Minecraft is not, but Austin Jones is in jail now. Imagine if he came back and instead of apologizing, he said, hey guys, I'm just kind of young and I make mistakes because I'm young, but here's a crazy dance I made up while I was off the internet. Do you really think anybody would take this guy? They'd be like, what the hell is going on? What is this response? I don't know who at her PR firm would tell her to come back and do this. And apparently now she's taken it down from the internet and tried to erase it every place that she can. There is one channel that still has it, and I actually had to borrow it from this channel, Mr. Beard, who he does his own version of this dance, and it's absolutely hilarious. But it just goes to show how she's turned the whole thing into kind of a mockery where she takes no responsibility for this. Now, as I said, in this video that I cannot show of Jack Wright actually being passed out, he is 100% passed out, like knocked out cold from, they said they were drinking all night and I guess smoking weed, and he's conked out. Like you can tell the difference between someone who is sleeping like naturally and someone who is conked out at a party, fully dressed on a couch with their neck twisted like a weird way because they've completely like passed out mid-party. And that's how he's looking in this video. And she's like full body on this guy. And just, I mean, if you saw a dude doing that at a party, you'd rip him off and probably pound his face in. But of course, you're not going to do this with the girl. That doesn't make it any less wrong. He is completely being taken advantage of in this situation. And, you know, I'm seeing this more and more, and people are asking me in the comments down below, they're like, how come more and more people are coming out as like abusers? Well, there's a lot of reasons. We're seeing this more and more in social media. It's not that social media people are all becoming abusers. This is not the situation. As more and more people join these platforms, and you've got to remember, between TikTok and YouTube, you've got a large percentage of the entire world on these programs making videos. And within that, statistically, you're going to have offenders, whether it be in the realm of SA, even murder and rape, horrible things like that, which I'm surprised I can say these on the channel and it's not going to get my video knocked down. But even within these, you know, they're on YouTube, they're on TikTok. There's the one guy, what was his name? Jin Kid, who he killed his ex-wife who was trying to get a divorce with him. So you're going to eventually encompass these people. And I do actually plan to make an iceberg where I cover a series of TikTok criminals and YouTube criminals and just go like deeper and deeper into the iceberg. But with this one, I think the reason you're seeing some of these people pull these kind of like mid-range offenses and try to just write them off. And when I say mid-range, I'm saying like comparing it to murder. Okay, she didn't murder anybody, but this is still horrible what she's done. And why she's not taking responsibility is for the same reasons that we see a lot of these other YouTubers, and I mean both men and women, not take responsibility. They get addicted to this like aspect of it. Okay, I mean, every one of us who makes a video is trying to get views. You don't make a video if you're not trying to get views. It doesn't make any sense unless you're like using it for a business report or, you know, a message home to your parents to let them know you're okay when you're on traveling. But most of us, I'd say, are making YouTube videos for views. If anybody ever comes on in the comments and be like, you just made this video for views. Yeah, like no kidding. Like that's the worst comeback to any kind of criticism. People are making them for views and they're getting the likes that they want for this. And this has become like this dopamine drip that they're getting over and over again. And the more and more likes they start to get, the more and more approval they think they have. And I feel like, and you know, I have no degree or background in this, but I feel like it's starting to create a certain kind of special narcissism. And I almost want to call it like digital narcissism or internet-based narcissism. And they become bigger and bigger in their own head where they think they can't do any wrong. And that whatever they do, every time they are shown on these platforms, people are giving them likes. They're like, wow, so amazing. You dance so great. You're so talented. You're so beautiful. They eventually start to imagine nothing they can do is wrong. And so they take their narcissism farther and farther until finally they break a limit where they're like, well, wait, everybody loved me before. Why is this too much? And I think these kind of videos, and I'm not just saying me making videos like this, calling people out, but I think more and more videos like this need to be created to let people know that they're going to be policed just as much online as they are offline. You know, we're really used to the news reporting every kind of story that ever came out in eyewitness news, local news, things like that. So that's why you don't, you know, have a lot of people going out and committing crimes like on camera in public in front of the news channels, right? Like nobody's going to go over to a news station and be like, hey, I'm about to rob this car. Can you guys come over here and film it? But I mean, that's literally what people are doing on TikTok and YouTube. They're going to a person who films for them and saying, hey, can you film this? Take this camera to this party. We're going to do something wild. And it's caught. Now, that's why this kind of policing needs to go on. Now, I'm not saying we're the end all be all of policing when it comes to making exposed videos, but I do think it keeps people in check to a certain aspect of not taking advantage of their viewer and or, like in this situation, a fellow creator. So I continue to make these videos, and I hope many other people continue to make these videos. One thing I will always try to do is, number one, if I ever make a huge mistake, like with this one right now, I really am not sure if Jack Wright and Sienna Mae were together at the beginning. Some people are saying that they were boyfriend and girlfriend, broke up, and she took advantage of him. And Jack Wright has said before that he was never with her. I would go with what he's saying first because it's from his perspective and not secondhand news. So that's what I'm going with. But if I ever am incorrect about something like this or I get something wrong, I need to be called out too and correct the information that I'm delivering. Another thing I also always want to do is make sure and watch these things play out for a little bit. I think it is good to police this kind of stuff online, but I think we also need to see an end result. Now, this has been going on for quite some time. This happened all the way back in 2021 where she was called out for doing this. But I remember, for example, the one with Jarrett, what was his name? Pro Jarrett, that's who it was. Pro Jarrett apparently had cheated on his wife. That's what everybody was going with. And I remember seeing that where it turned out she had just been cheating on him just as much as he had been cheating on her. Now, he was still a little bit of a scummy dude starting that weird sort of internet online, share nasty cosplay pics, which is kind of creepy. But that was a totally misunderstood situation and no one let it play out long enough. So one thing you will probably always see on my channel is I want to watch something play out long enough before I start to accuse. So for example, even Sky Does Minecraft, he had been accused in the past by his ex-wife, and then we were finally seeing that play out again. That was another good time where I thought, yeah, this is confirmed. It's happening twice. It doesn't. If you start to see these things start to happen again and again and again, then most likely people are telling the truth. Once again, I always say, do believe all victims, anybody who comes forward, male or female, and listen, have an open ear, and then get all the information you can. And I think it's always great that other creators and you guys, the viewers, find these stories. And anytime you find something like this and you want me to report on it or make a video about it, let me know. Hit me up in the DMs. I really do listen to every comment you guys make. I read every single one. I recently haven't been able to comment or reply to every single one because I'm making a video a day, but I do try to reply to every single one. Anyway, guys, I hope to hear what your thoughts are on the Sienna Mae situation with Jack Wright. Anything you have to put into this, like for example, if you have any other background on whether or not they were together, I'd like to hear it. Whether or not you think this is going to play out in favor of Jack Wright or Sienna Mae, or if you think that I've gotten it totally wrong, you think nothing did happen to Jack Wright, but you probably going to have to show me some pretty clear evidence because there's literally video of Sienna Mae like bodying this guy and kissing all over him while he's passed out, which is just gross. And I always say whenever people can't understand why that is gross that a guy's getting attacked by a girl, I always just say just switch the roles. If you saw a girl passed out at a party and a dude just climbed on top of her and started kissing all over her, you'd be like, holy cow, call the police, right? So, that's all I ask is, consider every type of victim possible. Anyway, guys, until next time, I have been Inksmith, and I will talk to you again real soon.